Okay, good morning, everybody. I hope you're doing well. I hope you had a good weekend. Just a real quick video just to touch base and let you know what we're going to be working on today and project a little bit further into later in the week as well. So for today, as you can see, I have an assignment posted here for Nervid Inc. I know that's your favorite, and you know, figured that you guys would be excited to maybe do a No Red Ink assignment since we haven't had one in a while. But if you go to the No Red Ink, what you're going to see is this run-on sentence fanboys practice. And it's like I usually do. It's about 6 topics. And this is really based on what I saw a lot of as far as a lot of errors in your short story analysis papers. The most common thing had to do with errors, had to do with commas, but specifically how comma errors can also create run-on sentence errors. So a run-on sentence is basically when you have two complete sentences that run together without the proper punctuation. So this practice is really going to focus on that with the use of fanboys, right? Those are coordinated conjunctions. For, and, nor, but, or, yet, so. And so the first part of this is going to have you look at identifying the function of fanboys, how these coordinated conjunctions are used. Then it's going to get into then the use of commas with those conjunctions. And then that's going to get into a higher level with compound sentences where you have two complete sentences that you're going to punctuate with fanboys, and then also fragments, which are sometimes created when you have an incomplete sentence because you're using a conjunction and you're using it improperly. So it's going to cover. This is going to really cover what most of the errors related to that I saw in your papers. So I think that's a very important thing to focus on. Earlier in the year, we talked some about semicolons and colons and combining having two complete thoughts and how to combine them in a sentence. But this is going to be focused more specifically on where those errors were arising in your papers. And the final section here, this correcting comma splices and fused sentences, that's like the most specific about run-ons, because a comma splice is basically when you have a comma used instead of a period or a semicolon, which is going to create a run-on, or you have a fused sentence where you basically just have the sentences running together and there's no kind of separation there whatsoever. So as you can imagine, next class we're going to have a much more detailed video kind of going over some of these. If you're having trouble with these, I'll be demonstrating that. And then you can expect that there will be a quiz on this assignment later in the week. So just like we've done before when we were in school, you do the practice at the beginning of the week. At the end of the week, there's a quiz on that. So this will be the first time we're going to be doing a distance learning quiz. But I think the way No Red Ink is set up, it kind of is going to work pretty well. And I'll give you more information, more about how that would work and how that might be different from what we would do in class. But just to be aware, it would be time sensitive as far as when our class would meet. And I would put a time limit on it also so that you'd have to complete that quiz within a set amount of time. And if there's some issues there with extended time, you can talk to me or contact me, and we can work those out. But that's how that's going to be set up for later in the week. Speaking of which, we haven't done any kind of direct connection. I've been doing the videos, but you can anticipate that later in the week we are going to be doing something utilizing Microsoft Teams. And you're going to see that, if you haven't yet, you're going to see that pretty much across the board in all your classes. So I'll be giving you more information about that also this week. So that's something you should prepare for. So the annotation assignment that I gave you last week, you should continue to keep reading a separate piece and doing the annotations. As I said, chapters, if you check the reading schedule, the next 3 chapters are going to be due by the end of this week. So in addition to what we're doing with No Red Ink, we are going to start doing some preliminary work with a separate piece And I'll let you know more about that later. And that will be something, as far as the book is concerned, that will be something that will carry over into following the break. So remember, too, when you're completing this, it's very important that you look at the lesson first. So you're really going to save yourself a lot of work by looking at the lesson. Take a couple minutes to look at the lesson first before you jump into the practice. If you go straight to the practice, you really don't have an understanding of the full context and concept of what you're being asked to do. So the lesson is going to explain exactly what the practice is going to consist of, the important concepts here. So you want to review this first before you jump right into the practice. So when you review the lesson and then you go to the practice after that, remember the practice is going to be the actual questions themselves. And so, if you haven't reviewed the lesson, you're not going to really understand fully connecting subjects, objects, complete thoughts, verbs. And the more you get wrong, as you know, the more you're going to have to get right in order to advance. So save yourself work in the long run by doing the lesson preview before you jump right in and start doing the practice itself. Okay, so if you have any issues, you have any difficulties with this, please let me know. And like I said, there'll be a more detailed video tomorrow, kind of reviewing some of these. But if there's something that you're totally stuck on, please let me know, and I'll try my best to help you with this today. But otherwise, like I said, I'll give you some more detailed instruction on some of the practices tomorrow. So, hope everyone's doing great, and I will talk to you later. All right, bye-bye.